January 9th, 3:47 am. Deep beneath the city of Lviv, something happened that NATO hoped would never happen. For years, this western Ukrainian city lived untouched. Coffee shops open, delegations arriving, meetings behind closed doors. While the east burned, Lviv remained safe. Until one hypersonic strike shattered that illusion forever. This isn't about a destroyed building. This is about what they were hiding underneath, and why the panic started not in Kiev, but in Brussels. Welcome to Newslist, the People's Observer. What you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew about modern warfare. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get comfortable. Because the ending? That's going to surprise you most of all. Lviv existed in a parallel reality, a city where war was theoretical. An idea discussed over espresso, not experienced through sirens. While eastern Ukraine counted explosions, Lviv counted foreign delegations. The logic was simple. Place everything important as far west as possible. Headquarters, logistics, command centers. The deeper into the rear, the safer the asset. Western Ukraine became more than a haven, it became a promise. A guarantee whispered in every closed-door briefing. Here, you're untouchable. January 9th proved them wrong. Catastrophically wrong. The weapon wasn't conventional. It was Oreshnik Russia's hypersonic answer to underground warfare. When it struck, Ukrainian social media erupted. Videos cut mid-sentence. Comments disappeared. Instead of the usual everything intercepted claims, silence. Nervous, calculated silence. Kiev froze. No statements, no details. Too sensitive, too revealing. But in the West, the tone changed immediately. Brussels recalculated. The Pentagon reassessed. Washington reconsidered. Because this wasn't about destroying infrastructure. This was about destroying a concept. The official story was predictable. Strike on Lviv International Airport Area. Sniliv Air Base. Military infrastructure. Nothing to see here. Move along. Except, the story doesn't hold. Sniliv isn't just an airfield. It's a node. Ukrainian Air Force Base. Lviv Aircraft Repair Plant. Western Supply Logistics. Rapid border access. All converging in one location. But here's the problem. You don't use Oreshnik to crater a runway. Hypersonic weapons traveling at Mach 810. Kinetic energy comparable to a meteor strike. Individual guidance systems. Bunker-penetrating design. That's not for making holes in asphalt. That's surgical precision for underground targets. So what were they really aiming at? The logic points downward, beneath the concrete, into Soviet legacy. During the Cold War, the Western USSR wasn't just defended, it was fortified for Armageddon. Lviv sat on the Western approach, which meant deep bunkers, reinforced command centers, meters of concrete and soil, autonomous life support systems designed to survive nuclear war. When you analyze the strike parameters, it becomes obvious. They weren't hitting the airbase. They were hitting what's beneath the airbase. And that's when a word nobody wants to say out loud appears. After the strike, analysts noticed something disturbing. Communications went dark. For hours, entire command sectors in western Ukraine went blind. Channels that had operated flawlessly, silent. This isn't what happens when you hit a runway. This is what happens when you sever a nerve center. Military correspondents and insiders began talking about something else entirely. A closed meeting. Not battalion commanders higher, much higher. People who don't manage sections of the front. People who manage the entire picture. Geography supports this theory. Just kilometers away, Yavorov Training Ground. NATO's main hub for instruction, coordination, and command throughout the conflict. Sniliv in this equation looks like the perfect hub. Fly in, quick access to protected underground facility, meeting, fly out. Compact. Fast. And as they believed, safe. Retired Major General Vladimir Popov stated it plainly, the strike character indicates a decision-making center, Not targeting muscles, targeting the brain. Not equipment, those who push buttons and give orders. If this version is accurate, January 9th was an attempt at decapitation. And decapitation creates chaos. And in war, chaos is often deadlier than direct losses. But Lviv was just one fragment of a much deeper underground map. After Lviv, it became clear this isn't about one facility. This is about an entire infrastructure inherited from the Soviet Union, a foundation the West tried to build an invincible command system upon. The problem? That foundation wasn't designed in Brussels or Washington. Former command and communications post of the Carpathian Military District, dozens of underground rooms, autonomous power, air filtration, protection designed for direct nuclear impact, carved into bedrock, former nuclear weapons storage, wall thickness measured in meters, hermetically sealed gates, not a bunker, an underground city. Add to this the Arpad line in the Carpathians' complex fortification networks later integrated into Soviet defensive architecture. Former Ukrainian Prime Minister Mykola Azarov spoke directly. Nothing fundamentally new was built during independence. Everything used today is Soviet legacy. And here lies the critical vulnerability. Russia's general staff has all the blueprints, down to the last ventilation duct. Russia isn't searching for these facilities. They're opening our Ministry of Defense archives, dusting off folders, and entering ready-made coordinates. Hiding in Soviet bunkers from Russia is a strategic error disguised as caution. So if Lviv was exposed, where are they hiding now? After Lviv, the question shifted from maps to people. Where is Zelensky? Where is his inner circle? Theories abound. Official Kyiv, Western Ukraine. Kryvyi Rih, his hometown, transformed into a showcase of bunker construction. But here's what matters: separating reality from theater. What Ukrainian authorities regularly demonstrate are civilian shelters, corrugated steel cylinders buried a few meters deep, beds, toilet, heating stove. Convincing in a news report. But from a military physics standpoint, stage props. They'll save you from mortars, maybe artillery. But from hypersonic impact? No. For that kind of kinetic energy, they're tin cans under a press. Real shelters are elsewhere. Soviet-era industrial giants built for dual purposes. Beneath factory floors, underground streets, tunnels for vehicles, massive ventilation, autonomous systems. Kryvyi Rih's ArcelorMittal Steelworks, for example. According to military experts, it was previously hit by Kinzhal missiles. They spoke of striking a general's bunker, no details, but characteristic official silence followed. Western journalists described life in these shelters: exercise equipment, ping-pong tables, imported alcohol, 5-star hotel comfort levels. But underground comfort doesn't override physics. Concrete, steel, and depth no longer guarantee salvation. And that's when it becomes clear there are no safe places anymore. Every shelter the Kyiv regime and its Western handlers rely on today comes from the past. These bunkers were designed for 20th century warfare. Carpet bombing, cruise missiles, limited yield nuclear weapons. The strategy was simple. The thicker the walls, the deeper the placement, the safer. Deeper meant safer. That logic died with the arrival of hypersonic weapons. Modern weapons work differently. Speeds of Mach 810 transform warheads into projectiles of colossal kinetic energy. The strike isn't an external explosion, it's penetration into the depths. Meters of reinforced concrete don't absorb the impact. They crumble like crackers. Soil doesn't protect. It becomes a conductor of destruction. But there's something more important. In modern warfare, destroying a warehouse is secondary. The most devastating strike is against command and control. When communications disappear. When command posts go blind. When officers lose situational awareness. The front begins to collapse on its own. Chaos in command is more dangerous than ammunition shortages. And this is precisely what systems like Oreshnik are designed for. These missiles aren't fired emotionally. They're not wasted for demonstration. Their use is a marker of highest priority targets. This is a weapon not against buildings, not even against people. This is a weapon against the very concept of bunker warfare. The idea that you can hide, wait it out, and manage a conflict from underground. And if even Lviv is no longer the rear, what does that mean for NATO? Now we can remove emotions and simply record the result. The January 9th strike on Lviv wasn't an episode. It was systemic. In one strike, the entire construct supporting Western war logic in Ukraine was knocked out. An object didn't disappear. A key logistics hub was taken out of play, where routes, people, equipment, and decisions converged, stopped functioning. A communications and command node was hit, that underground sanctuary where they felt untouchable. The main thing was destroyed, belief in depth. The idea that going underground, hiding behind concrete and distance from the front, meant war would pass you by. NATO read this signal instantly. The insurance policy doesn't work. Meters of concrete don't save you. Soviet bunkers they bet on have long been archived. And those archives aren't in Brussels. Not in Washington. They're in Moscow. Russia demonstrated something simple and unpleasant. They know where the key points are. Who sits in them? At what depth? After this, Lviv, Zakarpattia, and the entire west of the country cease being reserve territory. There's nowhere left to retreat. Managing from the rear is impossible. The illusion of safety has collapsed. So now we understand the hysteria. The question is simple. After a strike like this, will NATO generals risk coming in person? Or will all command finally retreat to Zoom calls from safe Poland? This wasn't just about Lviv. This was about the end of an era. The era when depth meant safety. When bunkers meant survival. When the rear was sacred. Modern warfare doesn't respect old maps. It doesn't care about concrete thickness. And it certainly doesn't recognize safe zones drawn on Cold War blueprints. January 9th was the day the ground itself stopped being protection, and everyone underground just became easier to find. That's where our investigation ends today. What do you think about all this? I genuinely want to hear your opinion in the comments below. To new subscribers, my special respect. To the veterans of this channel, double respect. This is News List. Stay aware, stay critical, and we'll see you in the next one.